The relevant regulation to consider is the National Electrical Safety Code, or NESC Table 232.1. This table provides clearances for wires, conductors, and cables above the ground and roadways. For communication cables, Table 232.1 specifies a few clearance heights. Firstly, over roadways, the required height is 18 feet. Secondly, over sidewalks, the required height is 15 feet. Thirdly, over driveways, the required height is 15 feet. And finally, over other areas accessible to pedestrians, the minimum clearance is 12 feet. Since the cable in question is not a broadband communication cable, it doesn't fall directly under NEC Article 830.11 D3. However, the footnotes to Article 830.11 suggest that the clearances from the NESC should be used for installed communication cable plant. Therefore, if the area where the cable was located is accessible to pedestrians, the clearance height requirement would be 12 feet. Based on the provided information, if the cable was sagging at 14 feet, it was not in violation of the NEC clearance height requirement for areas accessible to pedestrians. The truck driver's failure to watch properly and the resulting damage to the cable could indicate that the truck company should bear the responsibility for repair costs. The fact that the cable was not a broadband cable might be irrelevant to the issue of liability if the height was compliant with pedestrian access requirements. A copy of NESC Table 232.1 is available from the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, also known as IEE. It is important to verify the specific requirements in the edition of the NESC that was in effect at the time the cable was originally installed, as requirements can change between editions. The NESC provides guidelines for ensuring electrical safety and preventing accidents related to overhead cables. Always consult the latest edition of the NESC and local regulations to ensure compliance. When installing or maintaining communication cables, it is important to understand and adhere to these clearance requirements. This helps to prevent accidents and ensure the safety of both vehicles and pedestrians. Failing to comply with these standards can lead to liability issues in the event of an accident. The height requirements exist to prevent vehicles and people from coming into contact with overhead cables. This is especially important in areas where large vehicles such as trucks and buses operate. The NEC, or National Electrical Code, is a widely adopted standard for electrical installations in the United States. While the NEC does not directly cover communication cables in the same way as power conductors, it does reference the NESC for clearance requirements. Therefore, it's essential to consider both the NEC and NESC when working with communication cables. Understanding the difference between broadband and non-broadband cables is also important. Broadband cables, such as coaxial cables used for television and internet services, may have different clearance requirements than non-broadband cables, such as twisted pair cables used for telephone and data communications. The NEC and NESC provide specific definitions for these types of cables. It is also critical to document all cable installations properly, including the type of cable, the installation date, and the height above ground. This documentation can be helpful in the event of an accident or dispute. Regular inspections of cable installations can also help to identify any potential problems, such as sagging cables or damaged hardware. If a cable is found to be sagging or damaged, it should be repaired or replaced as soon as possible to prevent accidents. When working with overhead cables, it's important to use appropriate safety equipment, such as insulated gloves and safety glasses. It's also important to be aware of the potential hazards of working near power lines. Never attempt to work on or near power lines unless you are a qualified electrician. Always maintain a safe distance from power lines and other electrical equipment. If you are unsure about any aspect of cable installation or maintenance, consult with a qualified electrical contractor. A qualified contractor can help you to ensure that your cable installation is safe and compliant with all applicable codes and regulations. The information provided here is for general guidance only and should not be considered a substitute for professional advice. Always consult with a qualified expert before making any decisions about cable installation or maintenance. It's also important to be aware of any local ordinances or regulations that may apply to cable installations in your area. Some municipalities may have stricter requirements than the NEC or NESC. In addition to height requirements, the NEC and NESC also address other aspects of cable installation, such as grounding, bonding, and separation from other utilities. It is important to comply with all applicable requirements to ensure the safety and reliability of your cable installation. When running cables along utility poles, it is important to follow the guidelines established by the utility company. Utility companies typically have specific requirements for attaching cables to their poles. These requirements are designed to ensure the safety and integrity of the utility infrastructure. Before attaching any cables to utility poles, it is important to obtain permission from the utility company and to follow their guidelines carefully. Failure to do so could result in damage to the utility infrastructure or injury to personnel. It's also important to consider the weight and wind load of the cable when attaching it to a utility pole. The pole must be able to support the weight of the cable and withstand the force of the wind. If the pole is not strong enough, it could collapse, causing damage and injury. To avoid this, it is important to consult with a qualified engineer to determine the appropriate size and type of pole for your cable installation. It is also important to use appropriate hardware for attaching the cable to the pole. The hardware must be strong enough to support the weight of the cable and withstand the force of the wind. It must also be compatible with the type of pole and cable being used. Using the wrong hardware could result in the cable coming loose or the pole collapsing. Regular inspections of cable attachments can help to identify any potential problems, such as loose hardware or corroded components. If any problems are found, they should be repaired or replaced as soon as possible to prevent accidents. When working near utility poles, it is important to be aware of the potential hazards of working near power lines. Never attempt to work on or near power lines unless you are a qualified electrician. Always maintain a safe distance from power lines and other electrical equipment. If you are unsure about any aspect of cable installation or maintenance near utility poles, consult with a qualified electrical contractor. A qualified contractor can help you to ensure that your cable installation is safe and compliant with all applicable codes and regulations. The NESC is updated regularly to reflect changes in technology and industry best practices. It is important to stay up to date on the latest edition of the NESC to ensure that your cable installations are compliant with current standards. The IEE offers a variety of resources to help you stay informed about the NESC, including training courses, publications, and online forums. You can also subscribe to email updates from the IEE to receive notifications about new editions of the NESC and other relevant information. Proper cable management is another important aspect of cable installation. Cables should be neatly organized and secured to prevent them from becoming tangled or damaged. Cable ties, clamps, and other cable management products can be used to keep cables organized and out of the way. Proper cable management can also improve the appearance of your cable installation and make it easier to troubleshoot problems. It's also important to label cables clearly so that they can be easily identified. Cable labels can be used to indicate the type of cable, its origin, and its destination. Clear labeling can save time and effort when troubleshooting cable problems. When running cables through walls or ceilings, it is important to use appropriate fire-stopping materials to prevent the spread of fire. Fire-stopping materials are designed to seal openings around cables and other penetrations to prevent flames and smoke from passing through. Using the wrong fire-stopping materials or failing to install them properly could compromise the fire resistance of your building. It's also important to be aware of the potential for electromagnetic interference, also known as EMI, when installing cables. EMI can disrupt the performance of electronic equipment and cause data loss. To minimize EMI, it is important to use shielded cables and to keep cables away from sources of interference such as power lines and transformers. Grounding and bonding are also important for minimizing EMI. Proper grounding and bonding can help to reduce noise and interference on cable circuits. The NEC and NESC provide specific requirements for grounding and bonding cable installations. Static electricity can also be a problem in cable installations. Static electricity can damage electronic equipment and cause data loss. To minimize static electricity, it is important to use anti-static mats and wrist straps when working with cables. It's also important to keep the humidity level in the work area within a comfortable range. Extreme temperatures can also affect the performance of cables. High temperatures can cause cables to degrade and become brittle. Low temperatures can cause cables to become stiff and difficult to work with. It's important to select cables that are rated for the temperature range in which they will be used. When selecting cables, it is also important to consider the environmental conditions to which they will be exposed. Cables that are exposed to moisture, chemicals, or ultraviolet radiation may require special protection. Cables are available with a variety of protective coatings and jackets to withstand harsh environmental conditions. It's also important to choose cables that are appropriate for the application. Different types of cables have different electrical characteristics and performance capabilities. Using the wrong type of cable can result in poor performance or even damage to equipment. Consult with a qualified electrical contractor or cable supplier to determine the appropriate type of cable for your application. The lifespan of a cable can vary depending on the type of cable, the environmental conditions to which it is exposed, and the quality of the installation. Regular inspections can help to identify potential problems and extend the lifespan of your cable installation. When a cable reaches the end of its lifespan, it should be replaced with a new cable. Old cables can become brittle and prone to failure, which can lead to safety hazards and equipment damage. Disposing of old cables properly is also important. Cables contain materials that can be harmful to the environment. Old cables should be recycled wherever possible to minimize their environmental impact. Many recycling centers accept old cables and other electronic waste. By following these guidelines, you can ensure that your cable installations are safe, reliable, and compliant with all applicable codes and regulations. Remember to always consult with a qualified electrical contractor or cable supplier if you have any questions or concerns.